Zelensky will be brooding, but I'll tell you who isn't. Russian President Vladimir Putin. When he invaded Ukraine, a lot of experts were shocked. They felt that Putin had miscalculated, that he would end up being stuck in Ukraine. But Putin was playing the long game. He wasn't just betting on his military might, he was betting on the opposition's weakness. And it has paid off. America has lost interest in defending Ukraine, Europe is a house divided, and Zelensky has lost his charm. So as things stand, it is advantage Putin. It looks like the Russian president will have the last laugh. I'll give you 3 reasons why. Number 1, Putin's main war goal has been met. He wanted to stop Ukraine from joining NATO, and Trump has already agreed to it.
Membership for Ukraine.
They've been saying that for a long time, that Ukraine cannot go into NATO, and I'm okay with that. I just want the war, whether they are or they're not. But it certainly would seem to be that most people have said that that is something that's not going to happen.
Number 2, Putin wanted to carve up Ukraine, to turn it into a broken rump state. Again, things are headed that way. First, he annexed Crimea from Ukraine. That was in 2014. And now in the ongoing war, he's taken over much of eastern Ukraine. Around 20% of the country is occupied by Russia. And it looks like Trump will let Putin keep this territory.
We must start by recognizing that returning to Ukraine's pre-2014 borders is an unrealistic objective. Chasing this illusionary goal will only prolong the war and cause more suffering. A durable peace for Ukraine must include robust security guarantees to ensure that the war will not begin again.
And this will have long-term consequences. For example, will the European Union admit a broken Ukraine? Can a rump state grow financially? The answer to both these questions is no. So Putin is creating a weakened state at his border, a state he can meddle in, a state he can order around, and a state he won't have to fear. Number 3 is sanctions relief. There are more than 24,000 sanctions on Russia, 24,000. Out of this, more than 7,000 are by the United States. Putin will want those sanctions lifted, and Trump seems willing. Listen to what his Secretary of State said yesterday.
Sanctions relief going to be involved in any of this normalizing or trying to more level set relationship between the U.S. and Russia? Did the Russians bring up sanctions relief in the meeting today?
Well, sanctions are all the result of this conflict. There are sanctions that were imposed as a result of this conflict. And so I would say to you that in order to bring an end to any conflict, there has to be concessions made by all sides. We're not going to predetermine what those are.
This worried U.S. allies in Europe. So Secretary Rubio got on the phone later. He said the sanctions would remain until a deal is struck, which is frankly expected. Putin will never agree to a deal without sanctions relief. So you've ticked 3 objectives. No NATO membership for Ukraine, check. Turn Ukraine into a broken state, check. Commitment to ease sanctions, check. It makes you wonder, has anything gone wrong for Putin? Well, one thing, yes. After his war, 2 countries joined NATO, 2 neutral countries. Finland joined in 2023 and Sweden joined in 2024. Finland shares a massive land border with Russia, and Sweden shares a maritime border. This was certainly a setback to Putin, but his broader goals in Ukraine are on the verge of being fulfilled,